Hi everyone, you're with me Nadia Nazir from tvsarawak.com. These are the headlines for today. Tun Taib developing a robust skilled workforce. Plan to make birdwatching as Sarawak's tourism product. Online and mobile banking also at risk. Tun Pehin Sri Abdul Taib Mahmud indicated the need for highly locally trained workers to fill the demand of industrialization. He acknowledged the attraction of higher pay offered by foreign companies, which makes local skilled workers to even move overseas. This forces the local companies to hire new workers and they need to retrain them. Thus, he urged the government's involvement with the industry and private sector to develop, attract and retain these highly skilled people to meet Sarawak's future needs. Tun Taib added that today, the shift from having qualified technical workers to satisfy marginal needs to that of the most rapidly expanding sector and job creation is apparent. He cited Bintulu as an example where the shift is happening, whereby although it creates vast job opportunities, the state should be able to fill the need. Tun Taib asserted that Sarawak Corridor of Renewable Energy, also known as CORE, alone, which will bring transformation to the state, will make available over 300,000 work opportunities by 2030. The federal government, more importantly, the state government, Tun Taib said, should be actively involved in developing a robust, skilled workforce, which is in growing need. He expressed confidence that CTE will be able to embark on a more important and bigger role to hasten the production of technical workers. With the leadership of Chief Minister Datuk Patinggi Tan Sri Adnan Satem, Tun Taib hopes to see Sarawak develop into an industrial state. Tan Sri Adnan, who is Yayasan Sarawak chairman, said with the agenda towards becoming a developed nation, industrialization becomes a prerequisite, adding that key matters for Sarawak are trained manpower, added value, industrialization and export market. He believes that CTE can play its role effectively to produce the much required workforce to run the industries. The presence of hundreds of different bird species at Kubah National Park and Borneo Highlands Resort has great potential to be introduced as a new tourism attraction. According to Tourism Ministry's Permanent Secretary, Datuk Ik Pahon Joyik, the ministry is currently conducting studies on various sites in Sarawak that can be developed into bird-watching sites. He said that Sarawak has great potential to introduce bird-watching as a tourism product, such as the Borneo Bird Race. Meanwhile, the ongoing Borneo Bird Race, ending tomorrow, has the Philippines emerging as this year's champions for spotting 65 bird species. 27 participants representing 9 clubs from 7 countries participated. Moving on to Malaysian news. The automated teller machine ATM hacks at 18 ATMs so far are just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to the damage cyber crooks can unleash on Malaysia's financial institutions. The country's online and mobile banking platforms are a much bigger target for criminals and must be better protected, says a financial security expert. Security companies, however, say online transactions are safe as long as users take standard safety precautions. On the other hand, Tim Lau, the Asia-Pacific, Middle East and Africa head for Trusteer, a firm owned by computer giant IBM, said consumer devices used to conduct online and mobile banking transactions, such as smartphones, tablets and computers, were under a growing threat from sophisticated malicious software. Criminals can steal money and banking data from customers when they go online to conduct transactions using compromised devices. He said that Malaysia was part of a regional zone of opportunity for financial cyber crooks. Deputy Communication and Multimedia Minister Datuk Jailani Johari recently said that cyber criminals had hit Malaysia to the tune of 1 billion ringgit in losses last year. Malaysia, according to the Sophos Security Threat Report 2013, is the fifth most vulnerable country to malware attacks after Indonesia, China, Thailand and the Philippines. Statistics from industry bodies provided by Laos firms showed that Malaysia has an average of 17.66 phishing sites per 1,000 host computers. This is more than 3 times higher than the global average of 5 per 1,000 host computers. A phishing site is a fake website which asks victims to update personal information such as password, credit card, social security or bank account numbers. Last week, Federal Commercial Crime Investigation Department Deputy Director, Senior Deputy Commissioner Datuk Hamzah Taib said at least 8 people had lost more than 59,000 ringgit this month after their mobile devices were hacked with the Zeus malware, which tricked them into providing confidential banking details. Lau said banks should give more attention to online and mobile banking security because these were growth areas for the industry. Putrajaya announced today it is cutting subsidies for the RON 95 petrol and diesel by 20 cents per litre from October 2nd, effectively hiking the fuel at the pumps after midnight tonight. The new retail price of RON 95 petrol will be RM2.30 per litre, while diesel will be RM2.20 per litre, the Domestic Trade, Cooperative and Consumerism Ministry said in a statement. Currently, the market price for RON 95 petrol is at RM2.58 per litre, while the market price of diesel is RM2.52 a litre, the ministry said. The ministry said the cut in petrol and fuel subsidies were in line with the federal government's subsidy rationalisation policy to ensure the country's financial status remains strong. It added that the government expects to be able to better curb leakages and smuggling by irresponsible people with the subsidy cut. The ministry said the government is aware of the impact the subsidy cuts will have on the economy and the people and will be taking steps to lighten the burden. Among the financial aids will be an increase in the Bantuan Rakyat One Malaysia BRIM cash handouts to low-income households, which the ministry said will be announced during the tabling of the 2015 budget later this month. Other measures the people can look forward to include aid for families with school-going children as well as tax incentives. The top 10 universities in the world still belong to the US and Britain, while some leading Asian universities continue to rise, Xinhua News Agency reports, quoting the latest World University Rankings. In the Times Higher Education World University Rankings 2014-2015 report released on Wednesday, the California Institute of Technology remains in the first place for the 4th consecutive year, followed by Harvard University in second place and University of Oxford in third. Stanford University is ranked 4th, University of Cambridge 5th and Massachusetts Institute of Technology 6th, which just won top spot in the QS World University Rankings released last week. The latest results show the US continues to dominate the rankings, taking 7 of the top 10 places and 15 of the top 20. It was also a strong year for Asian universities, with 24 universities in the top 200 list, a rise of 4 from last year. Tokyo University and the National University of Singapore is ranked 23rd and 25th respectively. Seoul National University stands at 50th place after slipping from 44th last year. Two Chinese mainland universities, Peking and Tsinghua universities, are in the 48th and 49th place. The University of Hong Kong maintained its position at 43rd in the world, and the Hong Kong University of Science and Technology moved up from 57th to 51st. For the first time, a Malaysian film has been selected to compete in the main competition of the Tokyo International Film Festival, to be held from October 23rd to 31st at Roppongi Hills in Japan. Malaysian filmmaker Edmund Yeo's debut feature film, River of Exploding Durians, will be up against 14 other films from around the world, all vying for the top Sakura Grand Prix prize worth $50,000 US. This is not the first time Yeo has taken part in the TIFF. His previous short films, Inhalation 2010 and Exhalation 2011, were shown at the festival previously, and he also produced Wu Mingjin's The Tiger Factory, which won a jury's prize at the 2010 festival. Starring local actors Ko Shern, Joey Leong and Daphne Lau, as well as Taiwanese actress Zhu Ziying, River of Exploding Durians is a story of young love disrupted by real-world problems. Yeoh said he called his film River of Exploding Durians because it is a story that reflected Malaysia in general, from past to present to a possible future. Heading on to global news. The 14th World Summit of Nobel Peace Laureates, due to take place in Cape Town in mid-October, has been called off after the South African government denied a travel visa to Tibetan spiritual leader Dalai Lama. The summit has been cancelled after female laureates boycotted the event to protest South Africa's denial to grant the Dalai Lama a visa. The event is being moved elsewhere because there are enough Nobel Peace Laureates who refuse to go. This year's Nobel Summit was scheduled to be held from October 13th to 15th in Cape Town. The event was supported by foundations representing 4 South African Peace Laureates: Nelson Mandela, F.W. de Klerk, Albert Luthuli and Tutu. Norwegian city Oslo withdrew its bid to host the 2022 Winter Olympic Games after the government rejected financial backing for it. Norwegian Prime Minister Erna Solberg said there was not enough support to spend 35 billion kroner on the Olympics. Oslo's withdrawal leaves Beijing and Kazakhstan city of Almaty as the only 2 candidates for the Winter Olympics. Oslo is the 4th city to pull out of the bidding process after Stockholm, Krakow and Lviv. International Olympic Committee Executive Director Christoph Duby described Norway's decision as a missed opportunity for the city and the country. Norway will miss out on $880 million in sponsorship and television revenues that the IOC will provide to the 2022 host city. The IOC will select the Games host city on July 31st, 2015 in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. China's Foreign Minister Wang Yi has warned the United States and other foreign countries not to meddle in China's internal affairs as the country continues to grapple with the escalating protests in Hong Kong. Wang Yi issued the statement on Wednesday, shortly before meeting US President Barack Obama, who told him in a White House meeting that the US was watching the Hong Kong protests closely. As protesters continued to occupy Hong Kong's business district on Thursday morning, Wang first met his US counterpart John Kerry in Washington before heading to the White House. Wang told Kerry that all countries should respect China's sovereignty, and this is a basic principle of governing international relations. Kerry repeated US calls for Chinese authorities to show restraint towards the mass protests challenging the communist government. The protesters, mostly students, are demanding full democracy and have called on Chief Executive Leung Chee-ying to step down from the top office of the former British colony that reverted to Chinese rule in 1997. And that wraps up the news for today. I'm Nadia Nazir for tvsarawak.com. Have a pleasant day ahead.